Jon Stewart's Apple TV show is ending over disagreements regarding potential show topics that included China, so says the New York Times. This is the latest example of a company and a CEO who finds themselves walking a very fine line in trying to continue doing business in China, staying on the right side of Xi Jinping. And it comes as Tim Cook is wrapping up, coincidentally, a trip there. Cook secured a commitment from a top technology minister that Apple can continue to participate in China's digital development, whatever that means. Here to discuss is Dennis Unkovic, partner at Meyer, Unkovic and Scott, and Steve Kovacs. Steve, let's start with you and how lightly Apple must tread around the Chinese leadership to continue to stay on their good side.
Incredibly lightly. And by the way, what we're seeing with this Jon Stewart show being canceled or unrenewed, whatever you want to call it, is not new to the Hollywood world. We've seen this so many times with Hollywood decisions about, maybe a villain isn't of Chinese descent or something like that. So I just want to say that right out the gate. It's not just an Apple problem, but Apple does do a lot of business in China. And, the first thing that came to my mind was 11 months ago, Tyler, when all those COVID shutdowns happened and it really ruined Apple's quarter, right? We saw these protests happen that workers at these Foxconn factories building iPhones basically wanted to escape and get out. And then security forces came in. There was violence that happened. We didn't hear a peep from Apple other than they're monitoring the situation, not even a bare bones, we denounced the violence. And I think that incident, more so than what we're talking about here with Jon Stewart, really shows what's at risk for Apple and so many other companies, how they have to appease the government.
Is Apple, we've heard about the restrictions on the use of Apple products by Chinese government officials. Where does that stand? How big a threat is that to Apple? And what does Apple say about that?
Yeah, nothing. Apple says nothing, first of all. At least publicly, they don't say anything. But second of all, it's not just threatening to ban iPhones. It's also App Store licenses. You can't operate your App Store here maybe unless all the apps have certain approval. So we've seen a lot of concessions from Apple, even from stated values they have like privacy and so forth, that they have to kind of wiggle around in order to operate under the law of China and do business there, again, because so much of their production is still tied up there. We know we've been talking for the last year about them trying to diversify supply chains and so forth. It's just not enough to really wean themselves off of China, and that is why they're in the predicament they are in. So when a Jon Stewart wants to come out and do a tough story on China, or even, by the way, it wasn't just the China story he wanted to do. He wanted to do an AI story. And Apple, of course, is planning on doing some new AI stuff next year. And any kind of critical thing about their technology, not just their business in China, that seemed to rub them the wrong way, too. And it sounds like Stewart just walked away.
It seems extremely heavy-handed, Dennis. Do you think this, because Jon Stewart is such a popular person, would rise to the level that Apple experiences any bigger backlash about it or changes their policy on that front? Or just what do you think about this business decision?
Kelly, I think the problem is that 20% of the business that Apple does is with China. And so it's a strong economic incentive for them to only do work that makes the Chinese happy. I think that's really unfortunate because I think that China will continue to put pressure on Apple because not only is it 20% of their market, but most of their iPhones, even now, are still being made in China. Now, what Apple has done in the last couple of months, they've started to move some of their manufacturing to India, but it's only a small percentage. So Apple made the mistake that I think a lot of companies do is the old joke is if you owe the bank money, the bank owns you. If there's too much money owed, it goes the other way. I think China is in the catbird seat, and I think that's a real problem for Apple. And soon they're going to have to make a decision on where they want to go.